Are you thinking about getting a Swedish driving license? This video will tell you what you need in order to obtain a Swedish driving license and also give you tips on the best ways to learn to drive a car in Sweden. If you have a foreign driving license, it is not certain that you will be able to use it to drive in Sweden. Some countries' driving licenses are valid. Others, however, are not accepted, and in those cases, you need to obtain a Swedish driving license. Check the validity of your license with the Swedish Transport Agency. Even if your foreign driving license is valid, it is important that you are cautious when you drive on Swedish roads. You have to get used to Swedish driving behavior and learn Swedish traffic rules. Use learning materials and preferably seek help from an experienced driver. It may be a good idea to take a few lessons at a driving school, even if your driving license is valid. In order to practice driving, you must be over 16 years old and have a learner's permit. You can apply for a learner's permit from the Swedish Transport Agency. The easiest and fastest way is to apply online, but you can also fill out the application and send it by post. In connection with your application for a learner's permit, you must have an eyesight test, which can be done at a driving school or with a certified optician. Once you have paid for and obtained your learner's permit, you can begin to practice driving. The learner's permit is valid for 5 years. You can take driving lessons privately with an approved accompanying driver, as well as at a driving school with a qualified driving instructor. A driving school is a private company with qualified driving instructors who are licensed to instruct drivers professionally. The instruction that you receive at a driving school follows a curriculum drawn up by the Swedish Transport Agency. This agency also checks that the driving school is run according to applicable laws and regulations and that students are instructed satisfactorily both in practice and theory.
Hej! Hej! Jag ska betala min första körlektion här.
Då ska vi se. Vad heter du?
Jag heter Mohammed.
Only driving schools may charge for driving lessons.
Kan du ta ditt kort?
You are always entitled to a receipt as proof of payment.
Varsågod. Tack.
Hej då!
Hej då!
Most driving schools choose to be a member of STR, the Swedish National Association of Driving Schools. A driving school that is a member of STR is obliged to fulfill specific quality requirements. At an STR-affiliated driving school, instruction is given by a qualified driving instructor using a car with all the necessary safety equipment. Your driving instructor will draw up your personal training plan, including an estimate of what your training will cost. You will be given a training card on which your driving instructor will fill in the lessons and exercises that you have completed. Your instructor will also write comments and give tips on your training card for you to read. You can take private driving lessons with an accompanying driver. However, before you start your lessons, both you and your accompanying driver must undergo an introduction course at a driving school or with another instructor who holds a permit. To take the introduction course, you must be over the age of 15 years and 9 months, and your accompanying driver must have a valid driving license. During the introduction course, you and your accompanying driver will learn what rules apply when you practice driving. You will also receive tips and advice on how best to learn to drive. After the introduction course, your accompanying driver may apply for an approval certificate from the Swedish Transport Agency. The accompanying driver must always have this certificate and his or her driving license with them every time you practice driving. The police may stop you and check that these are in order. An accompanying driver without an approval certificate may be fined, and the trainee driver may be barred from obtaining a driving license for 2 years. The accompanying driver who instructs you is not allowed to take any payment for doing so. An accompanying driver who charges for driving lessons is committing an offence under Swedish law. If you are driving with an accompanying driver who charges you, it could also be unclear who is liable to pay damages in the event of an accident. We recommend that you take driving lessons both with a driving school and privately with an approved accompanying driver. Start by taking a few lessons with a driving school, following your introduction course. Your driving instructor can help you with the basics of both theory and driving, so that you learn correctly right from the beginning. Then, continue to practice what you have learned during lessons with your accompanying driver. To make driver training more effective, it's a good idea for your accompanying driver to work together with the driving school by occasionally joining you on your driving lessons. It's worth spending time when choosing a driving school. Look into which schools there are in your area and visit them to talk with the driving instructors. Compare their offers and prices. Ask if they are members of the Swedish National Association of Driving Schools, when you can start your lessons and how you can plan your training. Maybe you have friends you can ask for their experiences and tips. Also, ask about what possibilities the driving school has for helping you in your own language, such as theory literature in other languages or interpreters who can accompany you on your driving lessons. Visit the driving school's websites. There you can learn more about what they offer and see if they are members of STR. To obtain a driving license, you must also undergo 2 mandatory risk training courses. Risk Education Part 1 is theoretical and organized by driving schools. Risk Education Part 2 includes practical elements, such as driving on slippery surfaces. Your driving school will help you to prepare and will tell you when you are ready to take the risk education courses. Your driving school can also help you register for these courses. When you are a confident driver and have learned all the traffic rules, you will be ready to take the driving test, which you must pass in order to get a Swedish driving license. Your driving instructor can help you determine when the time is right. Remember that you must be a permanent resident of Sweden and be able to substantiate your identity in order to get a Swedish driving license. You will take your driving test with the Swedish Transport Administration. The test consists of a theory test and a practical test. In the theory test, you must answer questions about the traffic theory learnt during your training. During the practical test, you will drive together with an examiner who, after the test, will tell you whether you have passed or not. If you don't pass, you can book a new practical test. The best way to pass your driving test and get a Swedish driving license is to have proper training. Obtain help from a driving school for the most correct and effective instruction, and supplement this by practicing with an appropriate accompanying driver who has the required approval certificate. Good luck!